My cousin, who was working with me at the time, came to my office and was like, hey, you have to look at this email. You're dealing with one of the largest IP law firms in the country. Openly, there's a lot of talk about the metaverse.
The metaverse.
The metaverse. The metaverse. Turning towards the metaverse.
Conversations and negotiations were getting much more heated, and we could lose this deal at this point. He was losing it.
Take the deal.
Yeah.
Take the fucking deal.
Being depressed when you're being offered that much money is a crazy thing.
Changing the name of the company will cost them tons of money.
You had a company and it was called what?
Starting today, our company is now
Meta.
What's up, bro?
What's up?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
I want to get into possibly the craziest story that nobody knows about. You had a company that you started and it was called what?
Meta Threads.
Okay.
Meta.
So to walk me through this process, because I think the viewers that are watching this are already seeing where this is going to go.
Actually, well, we could kind of back it up a little bit further.
Yeah.
My business partners and I started when we still own and operate this company, but it's a paintball brand called HK Army. We make everything head to toe. A couple of us were just trying to figure out, like, can we branch out into another market? And we already had taken something that was a passion and turned it into a business. So then we were like, okay, what else are we interested in? We had a couple friends, and one of our like key designers was also just like a heavy gamer. And we kind of grew up in like internet cafes in the weekday evenings and then paintball fields on the weekend. So we just thought this makes a lot of sense. Let's go into gaming and take what we were doing for paintball, which was making jerseys, and launch that into the gaming industry, because at that time there wasn't really proper uniforms or like jerseys for pro esports teams.
The paintball company or brand was making apparel for paintball, because you were a paintball yourself.
Exactly.
I remember you were like deep, and you were like pro. You were like you know, you were in the grit. So HK Army supplied apparel and the actual uniforms, if I may, for that.
Yes.
And then what was the new need to come out with Meta Threads? The new need was, we want to elevate this, or we want to reach a different audience, or different cost, or what?
Yeah, we were just like trying to be creative. One, we were like trying to want to pursue something else that was a hobby or passion, but on top of that, use something that we were already kind of mastered, like, which was the in-house manufacturing sublimation, which is like what we utilize process for producing a paintball jersey. Just did it for esports.
Okay.
Gaming jersey.
So it's what year at that point?
This is like circa 2014, 2015.
Okay, it's 2014, 2015. You're like, hey, we want to come up with another brand, another premium brand to take what we've learned from this one and elevate it.
Yeah.
And let's start throwing some names around. What about?
So what about Meta? Yeah, and it's very obvious, because I mean, like, it is one of the most common terms in gaming in general, right? And so we thought, okay, like combining that with the word threads, we thought, okay, this makes a lot of sense because of the duality of the meaning. It like is a nod to gaming, and then at the same time, it could also be about how we produce our garments, because we were producing these jerseys via a process called sublimation. And the way that works is you have a polyester-based material, and then you take the digital graphics, you print them, and you lay them on top of the polyester material, and then at like high temperatures, like 400 degrees, the polyester fibers open up, and then the ink melts into it, and then it seals once it cools. And then now you have this cool graphics jersey. So that was like the Meta was the graphics in the threads. So it was like a cool name. It satisfied like both things.
It checks out.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously at the time, Meta means something so much different to you than what the world sees Meta as today.
Yeah.
So then you guys registered what? How many domains? Because it was Meta Threads was the you have other subdivisions of Meta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, kind of a common practice for my partners and I is like, anytime we spin up a new business, we always create the website. We've always been taught like to just create a range of products, even if we don't actually produce them, and just skin them and then apply for the IP. So we probably had, I would guess, somewhere in the range of like 20 to 26
domains.
Yeah.
Trademarks.
Like IP, trademarks.
Registrations. Okay.
Yeah. So under Meta Threads, Meta Gear, of course, domains, social handles, but what was, I think, the major factor was like we secured the IP for categories such as like headwear, headsets, gaming peripherals like mice, keyboards, like computers, gaming consoles. Yeah.
Like, I mean, eyewear, anything.
I mean, we had like every category that you could think of that would touch lifestyle streetwear apparel combined with accessories combined with gaming market.
How is business going at that point? So it's circa 2015. You registered Meta, Threads, Meta, 20 other domains, registrations. Some items are popping off, some aren't. Things are coming to market. You're launching, everything from backpacks to apparel to, cool headgear.
I mean, generally, like in that time frame, it's generally pretty slow. It's like standard brand building, right? Like the first few years, it takes time to get some traction. But we were lucky enough to have some good connections and friends that were in the space. So we got our apparel on actual top tier pro esports teams.
Cool.
Yeah.
And who is the customer at that level? It's B2B, or you're targeting the actual
D2C,
end user?
That's direct to consumer.
Cool.
Yeah,
right.
at that stage.
All right.
And then we started realizing that through these collaborations with some of these professional esports teams that we might also have an avenue, a new vertical, which would be like creating stores for those teams and creating product for them.
So business is chill. Yep. Everything's good. COVID happens, I think.
Yes.
Okay. COVID happens 2020. When does somebody come knocking on your door?
2021. Yeah.
Walk me through the psychology of the first interaction. What is the first outreach? When was the first time you got all of a sudden we're like, wait, what?
To be honest, what happened is my cousin who was working with me at the time came to my office and was like, hey, you have to look at this email. And he's like, so apparently you've been getting spammed with this email for like a few months now. And everybody ignored it because as a business owner, you probably get hit up all the time with those emails that are like, want to sell your business and things like that nature. So totally disregarded it. And then he was the one that brought it up to me and was like, this is a legitimate law firm. You should probably look into it. So,
okay. And what did the email say? Exactly.
Just like very simple. It was like, we want to buy your IP. Can you please reach back out?
Okay.
It's like super straightforward.
It was a legal firm.
Like,
a legal firm that's like, hey, we just want to buy. We don't want to buy your business. We just want your fucking IP. We just want like your name and domains and name. Okay.
Yeah. It said something like along to the effect of like, we have a strong interest in purchasing your IP.
Oh,
that was it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, do you? Okay, so then your reaction is after 3 months of people, sending this thing around and being like, okay, this is obviously a scam, whatever, or like another one. Who was the first person to reach out and just inquire with the legal firm to see if it's legit?
So our immediate reaction is let's reach out to our standard counsel, like our business lawyer, right? And so we hit him up, and he wasn't really privy to like all of the details, and he's not specifically an IP lawyer or anything of that nature. So he's just a general lawyer. So he got on a call with them, and he came back and was like, they said they want to give you $1 million, and
that was the first offer, $1 million.
Yeah, $1 million. Okay. And then he was like, I negotiated this. I got him up to 1.5, and I think you should just take it.
Wow.
And we were like, that's cool, but
were you like, hold on?
Yeah,
what's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
They want to take.
It was very.
I spent 5 years, 6 years building this brand. Right. It's plastered over all my shit.
Yes.
We have a whole fucking ecosystem of products and websites and forget about like it's on everything. It's you guys are like it's on the apparel, right?
Yeah, and keep in mind, like okay, of course, starting around 2015, but by the time it's 2021, we're already doing collaborations with Xbox.
Yeah.
With Facebook.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
So there's a world where like somebody at Facebook saw the word Meta and Threads and was inspired. Potentially. Right? There's a potential world that there was like some Inception shit happened here.
Yeah.
Okay? Like fucking you went into someone's dream and we're like, yo, this is a sick ass name. And they're like, it is a sick ass name. I should buy it.
Yeah.
Okay. So before it's a reality, obviously before it's even like the lawyer, your guy comes back and is like, so we have $1 million whatever offer, $1.5 million offer. You're like, what? I gotta release, it's real, but I gotta, you start to process in your head the work it's gonna take to unravel yourself from this IP.
Yeah, I mean, I think for sure there's that, but it was also a moment where it just felt like this is actually real. This isn't just like some small time offer or joke that we were probably gonna disregard right away anyway.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like not about the offer amount, but like really the bigger telling sign was that our lawyer had immediately like backed up that information with saying, will you sign this agreement where I'm going to take 20% and handle the negotiation for you?
My God.
And we were like,
whoa,
whoa, wait, okay, this is like, he must have got some information on this call, right? Wow. That felt very serious and
Weird.
was motivated to like try to insert himself at that stage.
Yeah.
And so so at that point, I guess like my gut kind of tickled, and I was like, okay, I need to reach out to my cousin who had just graduated law school in San Francisco, Nader, and I reached out to him and gave him the rundown, and he's like, okay, just let me like investigate some things like for the next 24, 48 hours. He calls me back and he's like, you're dealing with one of the largest IP law firms in the country.
Wow.
I think your current lawyer is in over his head.
Yeah.
We need to come at this from a different angle and need to bring in some heavy hitters like to compete here.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a level playing field. I was like, okay, I fully trust him. And of course, at that time, he's pretty green as a lawyer.
Yeah.
But I was like, I trust his instincts, and like, this could be a cool opportunity. And at least I would have someone in my corner that, we could really lean on and give us the truth, right?
So you had to engage you brought in a whole new legal company, a whole new firm.
Yes. So I just flew him down from San Francisco.
Dope.
And was like, you're going to live like in our conference room.
Take this, answer this.
You're going to live in our conference room until this deal's done. And you're our general counsel.
At this point, you still have no idea who the buyer is.
Correct.
It's an anonymous buyer.
Yes.
They've sent an email.
We actually have never even been given the company's name.
Yeah.
Right?
At that
We're just talking to a law firm.
Exactly. At that stage, you have an anonymous buyer that's working through an intense legal firm, an IP firm that specializes in this. So they had money. They had the capacity to hire the top of the top,
right,
at least. And now you're like in a position where you're negotiating your brand IP with you don't know who it could have been some Arabic prince for all we know that wants to call his new backpack company Meta Threads. Right. They've made an offer and you brought in some help. How long before he comes back with like, you're not going to believe this?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty immediate. I think like after that first meeting, it's really funny because like my cousin and I, we were kind of like scheming a little bit in the background, right? And he was like, let's try to like throw him off with this first meeting because it was a Zoom call. I'm going to go into the meeting in my gym clothes with like a hat backwards and like let's just see how he responds because he's gonna should be like lawyered up in a suit and tie and let's just kind of throw off the vibe. And so he got on that call, and I won't name any names, but their lawyer kind of did have a reaction, and he's like, oh, you look like a little different today. And my cousin said, yeah, I wanted to match like your original offer, like, or like the vibe of your original offer. It was really ballsy, but like it actually kind of got the whole conversation
you
going.
Want me to dress serious? Fucking make me a serious offer.
But in all fairness, right? Like at that time, yes, it was fantastic to know that this is something like tangible, something real, and someone really seriously interested with probably a decent budget, but our company was also doing very well. So like there was no chance we were going to sell it for that price.
100%.
Yeah.
I know you well enough to know that even if your brand was struggling, you wouldn't, a million isn't even worth all the shit I got to go through to switch everything. The hassle of switching for $1 million, it would have been like, what's your time worth, right? So how did that meeting go? We'll call that the beachfront meeting. But how did that go?
It was great. It actually bumped it up like about 5x, and then from that point we were like, okay, now we got some traction. This is something real.
Cool.
Let's have some fun with this and like see where this goes. So our conference room pretty much turned into the war room, and that was really where we stayed. I spent a lot of hours in there.
Now it's like mid 2021. It's still, this whole thing took place, from my understanding, in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, from the start of this conversation, like to where we're at in the story, I would say probably like 1 month.
And the whole deal, from the time you responded to the first email to the time the deal was closed, was how long?
Probably 4 months.
Okay, which is still an alarming amount of time. Like
incredibly
in terms
fast.
of being short. Yeah. So now we're like fucking going to war. Now you know that like you have negotiation power, and these guys are willing to play, and there's a potential, decent sized customer on the other side. Did something change in your mind? Because now I think at 5 million, 6 million, you're starting to think, okay, this could possibly happen. Talk to me about the emotional side of it. Like, this is your baby, it's your brand, you guys built this is, am I gonna start like detaching from this? Am I okay to, or was it like, I don't give a fuck if I can get over 7, 10, whatever $1 million, I'm over it?
I don't know. It was so surreal in the moment, and because it was happening so quickly, there were for sure feelings of, we want to hang on to our business. not only for what we had, like the blood, sweat, and tears that went into building it to where it was at that point in time, but also for like our team. Like we had a pretty sizable staff at that point. And a really great like fan base too, because we were like hands on at live events constantly.
I used to see your shit. I'm not even in that space, great. And I would be like, "Oh, sick, man!"
We had just gotten in Zoomies.
Yep, that's
and
right.
So it was like things were churning.
That's right.
And the momentum was there.
You would send me random texts of like, "Hey, check out if you're at this whatever show, say hi to this guy. Check out this backpack." And it was an Xbox backpack that was popping off. Yeah. So
yeah, exactly. There was the collaborations with Xbox happening, which were really strong, and so there was a lot of apprehension to like actually keep.
Because now it's real.
Because now it's very real.
Yeah, now it's like
we know it's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, okay, now I'm like, I got to start processing the exit strategy.
Right.
You know.
Right.
A lot of people don't talk about this. Like people want to exit, people want to build brands and exit, but then there's that moment of like, oh no, it's gonna go. You know, it's like it's kind of like raising a child and then sending it to college. You're like, I can't wait for them to go to a good college, but no, don't go to college. Don't leave me.
Exactly.
Fuck. It's such a thing. So now we're in the grit. They're fucking. You got the dogs in there. It's a fair fight, dog on dog.
Yes, yes.
And then what's the next big milestone?
So we got it up to 8 figures, like mid-teens.
Mid-teens. So now we're at mid-teens.
Yeah, like this is just a decent back and forth. Nothing too crazy at that point. But what was really wild, like in the background and happening internally with one of my partners, is he was losing it and just wanted to sell at once we passed like the 10 mark.
Sure.
It was like, this is a great opportunity.
Sure.
Of course, the conversations and negotiations were getting much more heated, and there were a lot of like false threats of backing out.
Right.
And so at that point, we really had to be calculated with the next step, right?
I mean, they're like,
it was
hey,
pretty scary.
Here's 12 million. If you fucking want to, we'll walk away. And you got people on the squad on your team going, dude, take the deal.
Yeah, take the deal.
It's like the worst episode of Deal or No Deal.
Yeah.
You know, like take the fucking deal. Just take the suitcase and run.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay, so that
High
takes
stress.
balls on your side and your legal team side. Whoever, by the way, can you share the contact of whoever you hired on your side? We need these guys. It takes balls to be like, no, we're going to stay in. And at this point, again, still, they don't know who the buyer is. They don't know it's Meta. They don't know it's Facebook. They don't know it's Zuckerberg, right?
Yeah.
And you've got a blind offer to sign or walk.
Yes, and right about this time, because it's actually kind of a perfect scenario because, excuse me, I kind of missed this part, but the reason why we were able to jump up in progressively from like 5 to around 12 was because we basically took the position. They were obviously rushing us. They were 100%. They were like, hey, it's time sensitive. So we were like, well, what's our negotiating tactic, right? Like maybe it's use time against them. And we're just going to say that we're open to selling, but we need to take the time to do a proper valuation of the company. And they were just like, well, how long is that going to take? You know? And that's when like it started just like volleying back and forth. And we're like, boom, 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 it's going up. And then they're just like, can we just speed this up? Like, let's just nix that whole process, right? And so that's how we got there. And then at that point, not to say my cousin's confidence wore off, but like I think we were in a territory where like the fun and games of showing up in your workout outfit, that's way over. And we're like, 100%. This is dead serious and we could lose this deal at this point. And so a different level, like mentality set in and like this thought that you could lose this now. That early on, you have everything to gain, right? Nothing to lose. And then now we're like,
now this
is real,
really
right?
tangible that you can lose. Yeah.
So on one of the calls, he went in with kind of like he a little ill prepared, and their lawyer kind of big dogged us really hard and just put us in our place. And we kind of left that call with our tail between our legs. And I was like, oh man, we're kind of defeated. We're gonna have to check out. Like this is it. Like we're gonna take this deal at this point.
Yeah.
And
so as this thing's going, as you guys are pushing the value or whatever up, what are you offering? Like what does take a deal from, let's say, 5 million to 12 million, right? Mm-hmm. Like your team's going in there saying, okay, well, we needed to go higher because why? We have to do X, Y, Z, or we have to the value of the the stuff that we're gonna in the market that we're gonna have to give up.
Right.
And also it's the the intrinsic brand value that we've built across these IPs, and you're just literally going through everything and like cost segregating every piece of it, right?
You would think so, but it actually wasn't even that intricate. Like we were literally just, because they were pushing the tempo, it simply was us saying we need time to process this and come up with figures to do that. But be in the process of saying no, we need a moment, they just kept going up. So we were like, this is wild.
I'm fucking stressed out listening to this story now, bro. This is just insane.
So we get off that call when it's at 12 and we feel super defeated. This guy fully punked us, told us like, we're gonna walk. You guys are like out of your element. Like you've gone way beyond what we think is actually like the value of your current company. I was just like, fuck it. Let's just go get lunch and have some drinks and just like blow off some steam. So we like went to a restaurant, probably about 6 cocktails deep, and my cousin just like sits up. We're kind of like depressed at this point. It's the weirdest thing, right? Being depressed when you're being offered that much money is a crazy thing, because we just felt like we were losing. And I think that's been like one of our biggest like success factors of just like in all entrepreneurship, was just like we're highly competitive, right? And so we're just sitting there really buzzed, and he's like, I just realized something. It's like, we've never submitted a written offer, and neither has he. This has all been verbal. And like California law, they don't have to they can engage in a negotiation back and forth and represent their buyer and never have to disclose anything to their buyer if it's all verbal. We have to put something in writing to force it to go back to their client. And so with that, we decided, okay, that's when we like went back and drafted and put together just like this insane document that compiled all of the basically what you were speaking to earlier. We just basically
this is why,
this is why,
this
right?
This is how much we want, and
total
why.
Tally up the entire value of all of our inventory, projected values, like the value we placed on all the collaborations we were working on, the royalty contracts that we were working with clients. I mean, so we put everything on the table, and
mind you, he's not selling his company. Okay, this is like, you're selling the name and the IP, which is the craziest part of the story. Is because a lot of people go through this process and they're like selling their entire company. They're selling the business that's going to generate revenue and be a business for the other person. Like this is like, just, I get to keep my business and I'm going to sell you my name basically. And I'll just get a new name. Okay. And I want to get back to that part of it. Is like, when did you start processing the new name? When did you already have one in your back pocket?
Oh, not at all. That was not even a thought at this stage. The new name was just like not even.
Not yet.
We actually had no idea like how it would shake out and how we would come out of this situation.
Okay.
Because it was very unique to us, just like them solely being interested in IP. And in fact, like at this point in time, they were very clear to us that we are not going to impact your relationship with your staff, with your infrastructure. That's all yours. Keep it. We are literally just taking your IP and you figure out what to do with it, but we're going to give you a really accelerated runoff period where you have to eliminate anything that contains that IP within a 3-month window.
Wild.
Yeah.
So at this, whatever drinks, you guys say it's got to go into writing.
Yes.
And so someone goes and puts all that together. You send back an offer that says what? How much?
Actually, right in between this, while we're compiling this, we're telling him that we need more time. And then we start compiling all of this. Openly, there's a lot of talk about the metaverse. And we already know that there's some key major players pushing towards development.
That was
in the metaverse.
2022 when the metaverse was popping off. And that's when I launched Abacus and VR stuff, and we were like all about, I was like, let's go metaverse, we're going to be rich.
Right. Yeah, metaverse was it. And AI just like obliterated it. But yeah, so these are those like early conversations. And we start thinking, okay, well, this makes complete sense. This has to be narrowing it down. Like this is already just such a sizable amount of money. It has to be one of these top 5 companies, Google, Facebook, you name it. And then so through the process of waiting longer, they ended up coming back up to, they increased it to 15. And then at that point, we had finished all of our documentation and we just swung for the fences. And it was the hardest decision because the internal struggle, right? Business partner was just like really wanting to unload at that point and felt we were in a really strong position. And we just kind of, between myself and my cousin, we just kind of felt like there was still some blood in the water. There was still some weakness. Like we felt like we could kind of push this because it just felt too easy.
Yeah.
Like, even though
They're
this was
going up
insane,
too easy.
Yeah, this was just like moving up too easy.
Yeah.
And like this is an independent law firm, and like that is probably on some retainer that we're probably like we have to find out when we're getting close to maxing out this retainer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
like, I wonder if they were given a budget.
I'm
to
sure.
like go, here's a budget to go achieve
Sure.
whatever you save, you keep half of whatever, or what was their skill? Why wouldn't they just come out and be like, hey guys, listen, I got fucking Zucks. He'll pay fucking blah, blah, blah. Here you go,
Right.
But yeah, okay. They had some skin in the game.
So one thing we did notice in that time frame was there was a company called, there's a few other metas out there in different categories. There's a Meta magazine company at that time, which is like a motorcycle magazine. We saw that get converted, and we were like, okay.
Oh, you saw that?
They're maybe like gobbling up whoever this is getting other IP as we speak.
Interesting.
And the lawyer was kind of hinted towards that. Was like, hey, you know what? You guys are running out of time now. Now you guys are like, there's a possibility that this just doesn't happen for you.
You guys are officially pissing me off.
Yeah, like we're really upset. We're gonna have to pivot our strategy.
Yeah.
And so we submit all of our documentation, and we were literally like, hey, like we're not gonna budge for anything lower than 24. And like we knew we were kind of swinging for the fences and at this stage and just kind of shitting our pants. And they came back and they basically were like playing hardball, saying this is insane. They countered at half, meeting us in the middle, and they were just like, you know what, we're gonna walk away. There's no way we're paying you anything remotely close to that. We will go to 18 and call it a day, and like otherwise we have a contingency plan, and we're not even gonna. Our client doesn't even need to use this IP, and we're like, damn, okay, so this is it then. We're we're giving up, and. We were like, we need to bring in an outside law firm that's equally as big. We start hitting up every law firm in Los Angeles that is sizable. Every single law firm is conflicted out.
Oh wow!
And we're like, holy smokes! We're doing a deal with somebody huge because every law firm works for them. So we were like,
that's nuts.
Yeah, yeah, it was crazy. So then a family friend, sizable, decent law firm, was like, oh, we could do it, like we'll help you. They were like, they were priding themselves on their negotiation skills, and they were like, we're gonna go in there, we're gonna get that dollar amount that you guys want. Let us get in one phone call with them. And we were like, wow, okay, this feels good. But we feel bad because my cousin's been doing all this insane negotiating and has gotten us this far.
Yeah.
And so we took both lawyers, my cousin and then this new guy from this law firm.
Yeah.
And
Nader put some fucking pants on.
Yeah. And we were like, we did probably like the most rude thing possible. We were like, both of you need to give us your negotiation pitch. And we want to hear it.
Yeah.
Like, how would you go into
it's your
this
fucking
call?
business on the line. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they both gave us their pitch live, and we were like, well, you know what? At the end of the day, of course, this bigger law firm, this guy's professional, and he had a well composed pitch, and so we decided for him to lead the conversation. And so it was this is like October 20, like October 20th, October 22nd, 2021.
He remembers the day.
This is significant.
You know what I'm saying?
This is significant because of what happens.
3:47.
There's a pre-meeting, and their lawyer, or our lawyer, that we designated to do the negotiation, he was so panicked, so nervous, and he backed out at the last second before the call, about 2 hours before the call. And he was like, I don't think I should do this. If I mess this up, it ruins, your livelihood, your families. It's too much pressure. And I was like, look, we don't care. Like we're all in. Like we're gonna just let it ride. Like let's make this happen. You were so confident. Where did that confidence go? And so Nadir was like, let me in. I'll do it, you know? And so he went in there and just hammered these guys, and it came down to the wire, and they just said, don't move the goalpost anymore. We will sign. We'll give you this amount of money that you requested. Just, you have to sign documents by 48 hours later. We signed on the 26th, and Zuckerberg made the announcement live on TV on the 28th.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It was kind of crazy.
That's nuts. So hold on.
That close to...
when did you guys... And at that point, you already knew it was Facebook, right?
Oh, yeah.
By the last hours.
Never really knew.
Oh, you never... Okay.
To be honest, we had like a viewing party, and because they had already came out and announced that they were going to make a big announcement on the 28th and go live with something monumental. And so we just threw a viewing party, and everyone was hanging out, and we're like... Let's see what's going on. And then all of a sudden, you know, it's Zuckerberg talking about Facebook and the history, and there's all these visuals and graphics, and then it's like 3D. It's like talking about the metaverse, and then all of a sudden he's like, we are now Meta. And we're like, what? And so there was a moment of like,
you're like, bro,
this is insane. I can't believe this.
Facebook. We just named Facebook's new fucking like IP, like their platform, Meta Platforms.
It was the most like bittersweet moment, because we were also like, what did we do? Like that probably could have been $1 billion deal, right? You know, but in hindsight, you know, I think is for sure way more than what it was worth to us in that moment in time, and like such a cool experience, great story. And then
crazy
looking at it in hindsight, like all of the companies that ended up selling their IP, because after, I think we were the linchpin for them to like truly actually make the announcement, because after we agreed, like the conversations with other smaller companies that
they're like, we don't even need you that much anymore. We got the biggest one.
Yeah,
Meta Threads, bro.
It seemed like that those deals fell out. So there were only like real big transactions were with Meta Bank and us.
Oh, Meta Bank.
Oh,
interesting.
And I feel pretty good about it, because Meta Banks sold their IP for 32, so we weren't that far off.
Dude, and that's a bank. Dude, the fact that like they named their version of Twitter, right? Threads, right?
Yep.
It's like it still blows my mind a little bit. I'm like, it boggles my mind, the fact that you had Meta Threads, and they named it Meta Threads, and it was like that's literally the Maharaja of the IP they needed. They were like, I don't even know if he was about his. That was like a year or two later that Threads came out, right?
Yes.
From that purchase, but it's like he had to at that point been like, he was probably looking through his things, going,
That one sounds great.
Lucy, what are some of the things that Zuckerberg in my head has a British accent. What are some of the IP that we have registered? Oh, there we go. Meta Threads is a good one, you know?
Yeah.
Fucking crazy, bro.
It was pretty wild, and, you know, good story.
Optically looking in, as, you know, someone that's known you your whole life, I was like, oh, Steven got scared off of Meta before I knew the deal.
That's probably what it looked like.
He got scared off because he had such a dope name. Meta Threads was such a cool name, or that was before Threads, but Meta. I'm like, Zuckerberg and Facebook changed their name to, you know, Meta Platforms, and Steven was like, oh fuck, man, he was gonna be like, you know, all up in my space using my name Meta all over the place. I'm over it. I'm just gonna change to this other name, and just rebrand. Or maybe I was like, maybe he was over Meta as a name anyway, and it was already like not the right, you know, thing he was doing for his brand. He just exited and switched names. I had no fucking clue that like Zucks came at you with like the craziest, you know, offer on the planet and like asked for the IP. That's wild.
And this is the first time I've ever told this story, so it was even like exceptionally harder, like in the moment when we had to announce publicly that we were sunsetting the Meta name, and it just didn't make any sense to anybody. To your point, like everyone outside looking in, everyone thought like, yeah, we've kind of just rolled over and didn't really changed name because of them.
You did it so classy though. I remember there was like a post I saw somewhere that was like, we're transitioning to this other name.
Right.
And I was like, why? Why did you do that? You know, like they scared you off of your name, but you should have been like, I would have fucking had a picture of me like on a yacht in Champagne, be like, yo, we fucking sold our name, bitches. You know?
Yeah.
Crazy.
It was pretty cool.
Just talk to me about .exe, because when I first saw it, I was like, Fuck yes, bro.
Yeah.
It was such a sick fucking name.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
and when that came, did it just organically fit right with everything else you were planning to do?
Well, to be honest, it was a nod back to Microsoft, right? Because they've
He's like, I'm gonna make a name for
Yeah,
Microsoft now.
yeah.
All right, what's the next IP?
Right.
Who's gonna come fucking? This one's gonna be 80 million. Let's go, Bill. Holler at your boy.
right? But it was really just because were such good partners. Like we met them in 2016, very early on in the Meta Threads development phase, and so they were like, "Hey, we see what you're doing in this space, and like we want to collaborate with you with our Xbox brand." And so we built some really cool collections together, and then we thought, well, since we're sunsetting the forward-facing Meta Threads brand, and we have our whole infrastructure, our whole staff, like what could we do? And so we were torn between saying, let's spin up another brand and continue this D2C path. And then the other route was, well, since we were already working with Xbox and Microsoft, let's develop an agency and just white label. And so that's why we were like, hey, this would be like such a sick nod to them.
What's the future right now? What's the landscape? Where you headed? Give me a quick, is there a new vision for the stuff that you're doing? You're getting involved in so many things, I know, but like, what's new that you're excited about?
Right now, I just think that we are just very lucky. I just feel pretty blessed to be able to work with such great brands right now, like Xbox, Microsoft, Discord, Riot, Recess, Anheuser-Busch, Beatbox, like really fun brands, direct-to-consumer brands, CPG brands. And so we're kind of just, as always, just like if there's an opportunity, like we'll explore it. And so it's fun building .x because it's literally has so many verticals within one business, right? It's like at its core, it's a creative agency, but we're vertically integrated with design, production, sourcing. We have our own 3PL, experiential, live activations. It's exciting. It's a lot going on at once because we literally are running like 7 businesses rolled into one. But it's
for the smaller brands out there, smaller entrepreneur startups. What's something these days that they can use an agency or a company like yours as talent or skill set, and is there entry price points for the smaller guys, the guys doing 1 to 3 million?
I don't know. We're trying to figure that out, how we can service a broader range. But right now, like we're probably, I would say, a little bit more exclusive to some of the larger brands right now, just because of just how much bandwidth it takes to execute that well.
Yep.
It's very tough to accommodate like all ranges of business right now.
This the reason why I asked that question is because you and like most pro firms at your caliber hit this Goldilocks stage where you want to work with UPS and Pepsi and all these, these dope, that's where the money is.
Yeah.
And then there's these, the smaller guys that are looking up like, I wish I could afford to work with, VaynerMedia. I wish I could afford to work with an activation, .com. I wish there's certain things that like you aspire to get to. So, then what is the takeaway in your opinion, right? From a marketing, activation, branding perspective for the little guys, is to grind it out until you get to the level where you can afford it? Is it to fucking, experience yourself, experiential marketing, your face off and do whatever it is you think you need to be doing to be relevant in whatever space? Or how do I get to that level where I can afford you?
So the starting point is for sure, grind it out on your own and put yourself in those positions to problem solve.
Because I've seen you fucking bootstrap.
Yeah. 100%.
From the get. And me too. I've never raised a dime. I fucking bootstrapped.
Listen, when we were going to these large expos, we're talking like giant events like PAX conventions or E3. For the longest time, we would go in and load in after hours once the union guys are gone in the dark of night. And we would come in with 2x4s and screwdrivers and just like zip this thing together and completely build it out of supplies from the local Home Depot and wrap it in graphics. And by the next morning, everyone would be like, where did that structure come from? And it'd be massive, and it wasn't professional. It was low budget. We would do that on our own and be the size of a booth that could potentially cost you $500,000, but it cost us $2,500 from Home Depot and printing panels that we sewed together, right?
Trade shows are still, in my opinion, and people that watch this channel know how I feel about trade shows, but trade shows are still the biggest ROI in marketing. Like it's the only platform, the only space environment where you can go in with mock-ups and dummies and a $2,000 backdrop and come out with a $5 million PO. There's no other place or platform that allows you to do that.
It's the best.
It really is the best. And forget about the fun behind it. What is it that exactly that you do? What is the core service of your current business?
Basically a full stack creative agency and merchandise partner. That's really like the short of it, but really we offer services from creative strategy, design, technical design, sourcing, manufacturing. We control some of our own manufacturing in-house.
So I'm launching a gummy.
Okay.
I'm an investor in a lab out of Canada. Cool. We've been working on an Adderall replacement for some years. And I know there's a bunch of functional mushroom things out there, and there's Groons, and there's, Rise Coffee, and there's a gajillion things that, are functional, nootropic mushrooms. But we wanted to go a step further. I wanted to feel like I was on something. I wanted to feel like I was taking a work drug, Cool. Yeah. I wanted to just smash my to-do list, my email, whatever it is I wanted to do. I wanted to do it I wanted to have fun at work.
I like
that,
yeah.
And more than coffee, but I didn't want to be on Adderall.
I need these. I need this for our whole team.
So we went through 2 years of trial and error on this thing. I've got some crazy stories of letting the staff try it at the Vancouver office, and our HR guy had to be like, dude, no more trials on the staff. Yeah. No more staff trials, okay? And but there's it has all those assets in it, like the lion's mane and the cordyceps, blah blah. But then it has the L-theanine and the niacin and the ginseng and the caffeine. You like get a flush, like whoo, holy shit, I'm on something. Time. I guess it's time to work. Is it time to work, or is it time to go to a party? So I would come to you, hypothetical.
Yep.
And be like, hey, I've got a product. I've got some kind of concept or idea of packaging and package design. I want to call it dialed or locked in or tapped in, or there's a bunch of names, right?
Sure.
And then you guys would kind of take it, you would analyze it, I imagine, and then come back to me with some kind of cost structure or scope of work and say, hey, this is our vision for how to bring this to market.
Yeah. Well,
or do I already have to be in market?
No, you don't have to be in market. It could be at at an early stage like that. But it depends. So we would first define what are we going to be working on with you, and is it going to be so? In this case, this sounds like we're probably doing some brand building with you, right? We're going to be working on like developing out the name, build you a comprehensive brand guide, and then from there we could figure out what the launch point is and what the product selection looks like, whether or not we're talking about us handling 3PL, so inventory hosting,
Gotcha.
Distribution. So we really try to
360.
Yeah, we're gonna probably first dissect it like high level, like what are we trying to accomplish for you, and then from that point we could build out a work back schedule and figure out what are our priorities and how we're gonna work through it.
And for just ballpark numbers, what does a service like that cost in a range? Give me a high and low based on the scope of work. I know it's probably a huge number difference or delta, but it could start at $50K and go to $500,000 for this, or
if you're talking
the full game,
brand ID,
like all of it.
Oh yeah, I mean for sure, that's a 6-figure campaign for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean because a lot goes into that. So it's
there's a lot of people doing a lot of shit.
Yes,
a lot of smart, high acumen
first
people.
of all, this is gonna set the tempo for your success going forward, right? This is representing your core brand identity. So we got to really be careful with that and take our time, make sure we get it done right.
I don't know about you guys, but if I was going to start a company or start a brand or new IP, I want to work with a guy that fucking named Facebook. I'm sorry. Like, holy shit. Why are you not out telling everybody what you've done, bro? This is nuts.
I don't know. I'm used to being like the guy behind the guy.
I know,
the guy,
you're too modest. You're too modest. And I love that.
I like living in the shadows.
I love that you're modest. Good. But you fucking named Facebook. And you're like, now you have a branding agency. I'd be out there be like, could you talk about some of your previous work, some of your portfolio? I don't know. We named fucking Facebook. I named Facebook. Meta. Yeah, that's me. I did that shit. I named them. That was one of my things.
I'm going to go home, add that to my LinkedIn banner.
Just one of the things that I did. I'm sorry. What have you? Sorry. Is that good enough for you? Yeah. Well, bro, I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for being on the show. Yeah. You're a fucking gem of a human. I'm so happy to fucking tell this story with you. Thank you so much.